Okay, I think I got everything working, so we're just going to try hit play here, and I think we're good.
There must be some mistake.
I
don't have much time, so listen closely. In order to defeat them, I need your help. We need to get inside the ship in different routes and destroy the core at each end. Both must be taken out. There's no future for
I
you.
like how the cutscene basically is telling the story.
I guess I have no choice.
And look, they just go right into the next level without even like putting it away. connected in 3D space. In the transition. with some sort of mechanical unit attacking in a different way. That's a consistency that they have. Can you hear the vocals now, Chris? I think you should be able to hear both now. Game and vocals. So, obviously trying to get the sound levels right with my new microphone. And obviously didn't have desktop audio connected when we started here. So sorry if you're catching us on YouTube or tonight for the technical hiccups, but I think we're getting them worked out here. Now, I think this has got to be level 4. So we're about halfway through in terms of what we're going to watch for today. I love how right there that some of their units are kind of using our reverse gravity. Seems like in general their style is to have 1 or 2 units who are kind of bothering you, who are just kind of annoyances throughout the entire level, and they start, you know, ratcheting it up in terms of what units they're throwing at you. Like for right now, they just, you know, the fighter just took out like 20 different larger fighters than or larger enemies than the other guys who were attacking him, the annoyances that were attacking him. Man, I love the way that the level just kind of like starts scrolling in different directions. Stops, you know, once they're in one place and then just starts scrolling downwards. It's crazy. And if I recall correctly, this boss is pretty nuts. Oh, you hate the background movements on here. How much more can I get out of the mic? I could probably get a little bit more. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Neo Zoom. It's funny that I said that I like the way that... Yeah, I agree. It doesn't make sense that the ship would fly that way either. It's funny that you guys said you didn't like it and I did. It makes sense. I just think it's a cool concept. Yeah, I agree. It does look a little bit like a platformer. Test, test. I just cranked up the mic a little bit. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Chris. Wow, look at this. Pretty insane. Oh yeah, here's the boss. You said you like how parted backgrounds make obstacles when scrolling. Yeah, I like that too. Good feature in a shooter, not only shoot but avoid too. Yeah, agreed. Chris is saying we're going to have background hazards in Skycurser. Specifically on the second stage, and there may be more on other stages, but we're working on the second stage right now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get confused between the two. Yep. What should I do? Should I dodge or shoot? Yep. Man, look at the way the blocks are falling downward. Can't believe that, man. There's like... they've programmed a sort of physics into this. It's crazy. For background obstacles, you know? And it's pretty cool. It's like basically as soon as the boss hits them with his legs, it knocks them loose. Yeah, so Chris is talking about, Chris and NeoZoom are talking about what are our options in terms of what we're going to do with the game for Skycurser. It's going to be an arcade exclusive release, and it'll be arcade exclusive at least for a good period of time. And then we will probably have somewhat different... a little bit of different play between each of the platforms, with the intention of everything pushing towards arcade. So probably not the exact thing that most people want to hear. They probably want to hear it's coming out on their platform. We're not opposed to releasing it on certain platforms, but there will just be a time. There will for sure be a time delay in there. So we still got about 7 minutes left. We're doing good. I think this has all been on one... the player has lost one life up to this point. Peg boy. So... no, we didn't have any arcade companies reach out to us and ask us to create this project. Chris, Do you want to hop on Skype and you can talk about it a little bit? Let me hop on Skype. Sorry, I keep blocking the gameplay. Not trying to do that. So NeoZoom, I'm trying to see if Chris wants to answer that via Skype so he can just hop on and talk through it. Love how the player is basically, it seems like the player is inside the enemy at this point, like an alien life force or something. It's crazy. I mean, look at the way the background is moving back and forth. It's insane. Love the enemies on this level. Love how you can see some of them coming from behind the background. Gosh. I'm trying to get in touch with Chris here. Very, very unique enemies here. I love it. Creative, very creative. It's very interesting how it seems like most obstacles that are destroyed always just have this 360-degree set of bullets that they shoot out. The only little complaint I would have about what I saw of Skycurser, don't take it rough, no worries. I just prefer to tell you is the size of the sprites and especially player bullets, some little enemies. What do you think about it? Yes, strange biological enemies. So we've gotten a lot of feedback on that specifically, NeoZoom. And it's quite obvious compared to something like Gradius here, where the player sprite is so small and the hitbox is even smaller. Related to our game, the hitbox is actually very small, even though the Skycurser sprite is quite a bit larger. Yeah, and I think we're talking about it. So I don't think we're not just going to like immediately, you know, hear something and go make a change. Mainly because we don't want to make that our standard. You know, but we are getting a lot of feedback about that, and I think we are open to making a change with that. So I think, yeah, the change would be to reduce the size a little bit. I've watched this playthrough before, and I don't remember this enemy. But no, man, we want to hear feedback like that. So we're definitely, I mean, you know, we get it. We're not offended in any way when we hear stuff like that. And, you know, we obviously want to please the fans, want to please the people who want to play the game, and especially the competitive shmup players. So, yeah, I mean, we definitely want to hear stuff like that. So it's good to hear, and thanks for letting us know. Alright, so we are at 2949. I say after this enemy, what we'll do is cut it short right after this enemy, and then we'll head over to Skycurser and get some more development done. Yeah, thanks, man. I feel like I feel like the people who have seen it so far have been generally pretty positive about their responses. So, yeah, let me show you the hitbox too when we get started here. In just a minute, I'll show you the hitbox so you can see actually how small it is. Related to like the size of the player versus the size of the enemies, I think the only thing we would do is decrease the size of the player and not the size of the enemies, because I think we like the idea that the enemies are as big as they are, and in a lot of cases much bigger than Skycurser himself. I mean, this game does it a lot too. You know, Gradius 5 here is doing that a lot. Man, the effects on this game are just insane, man. Very cool. That seemed like one of the first cutscenes, unless I missed another one, where it basically cut completely out and then came back. Because most of the other transitions happened, you know, as the player was playing through. But so we're stopped at 31:23. Basically, YouTube has a good thing going. If we cut out straight from the page, it'll pick up right there where we left off the next time we open that page. So from here, I think we're in good shape to hop on Skycurser and NeoZoom. The first thing I'll do real quick is show you the hitbox, since a lot of people wonder about that. Okay, here we go. Skycurser, Sprite Skycurser. So yeah, right now Skycurser's at 82 by 39. I think you can see that. Let me see here. You could probably see that. Yeah, should be able to. And then when I go to the mask is much smaller. So here are the dimensions of the mask. I'm trying to make sure you can see those as well. It looks like you can. The dimensions of the mask are basically 30 by 10. Yeah. So here's the 320 by 240, even smaller. 320 by 240. That's the standard arcade. That's just kind of how it is standard for arcade. And yeah, there's very little mask there. Specifically, I just read it. It's 30 by 10, so 30 wide by 10 high. Yeah, 80. Yep, really big on 320 by 240. It takes up, obviously. 82 pixels takes up about a quarter of the screen. It sounds like, seems like. It doesn't feel like that though when you play it. It really doesn't feel like that. But if we reduce it by 25%, I mean, you'd say that, you know, roughly take it down to about 60 wide. You're reducing it pretty drastically to taking up a little less than probably a fifth of the screen, if that ratio is correct. 50 long sprite would be cool. Try to resize it roughly in GMS directly, like image X scale 0.6. Yeah, I could. We're trying to keep from scaling sprites as much as possible, but yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and do it just for the heck of it, so we can see it. What the hell? I mean, this is the stream, right? We can do whatever. So let's do it. Object Skycurser. Here we go. Create. Chris, I know you're doing a facepalm right now, but here we go. Image X scale equals, sure, 0.6. Let's just try that recommendation. %60 of 80 pixels. Oh, okay. See what 60% of 80 pixels is. 48 pixels. It's probably going to look really funny because I didn't do a Y scale. I probably should have done a Y scale just to keep it as simple as well. You say it's frightening. You've said that a couple times. Why do you say it's frightening? Yeah, I mean, it's also just, I mean, just kind of the way it is. I don't really, I don't really know that there's, you've never been so far in a project. Yeah, I don't know that there's a lot we could do about it. Sometimes crashes already by this point. Wonder why. So we should be compiling right now. I'm trying to see the compile window. Here it is. Looks like it's almost there. Yeah, thanks, man. I've spent a lot of time doing that. I've done that on stream multiple times. I'm sure a lot of people want to see me play it, but I think part of the development process is to make sure the project is organized fairly well and additionally coded fairly well. And I think I've learned a lot about GameMaker Studio in this process, and I've gone back and tried to update as much as I can, and I still have a lot more to update.
Skycurser. Mission 1. Death at dawn. Go!
Okay, so we'll do one more thing. Obviously, yeah, because that kind of looks silly, right? Image. And of course the afterburner is hard-coded right now to its position, so that obviously looks a little bit funny as well. Let's try doing the... So the afterburner is going to be misplaced, but let's see what the Y scale looks like.
Hey, Dad,
Yeah.
can you mute it for a second? Yep.
All right, here we go. Gonna try to fix that webcam real quick.
Skycurser.
There we go. That's pretty good. And the game likes to crash when I switch back and forth between. So give me a second. I think our game just crashed on us. Come on, Skycurser. All right. So Task Manager is showing up under Game Maker. Maybe we close Game Maker itself? Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. What's going on here? Everything's under Game Maker. Well, you guys will get familiar with the soundtrack. Alright, I'm gonna figure this out real quick. Sorry about this, guys. Gotta kill an application. And I can't do it with Task Manager apparently because it's so freaking annoying. Are you kidding me? Wow. Wow, that was annoying. That was annoying. Let's try again. So, NeoZoom, are you talking about anything like that? With Game Maker crashing? Jeez. Specifically, we're using a plugin for attract mode, and attract mode is buggy, partially because of that plugin. It always has that problem when we're switching between programs and then we try to get out of attract mode really quickly. Man, that was very annoying. I gotta fix attract mode so that right now we don't go into attract mode so quickly. No worries. Old machine. More like you're saying sorry for the bad luck, I'm saying sorry for the bad stream. Alright, so the last thing we did, and I'm not sure if it's saved, I guess we should probably check and see if it's saved before we actually go in stream, huh? I didn't get enough time to look. Yeah, there it is. So that's how small he is. It takes a lot away. I mean, one of the things we're talking about too is we don't want to do any scaling of images. We know we could do X scale, Y scale, but we don't want to do that. We want it to be pixel for pixel. The main reason why is because when you start X scaling images, the pixel colors start bleeding over into each other, and then the game has to process what color it's trying to output. Look how big that is compared to the Skycurser. Yeah, so I don't know. Alright. Interesting to think about. .6. 48 pixels wide. Game doesn't take that long to launch. Once compiled at finish with and NCSI installer. I hope so. It's a question GMS related. Size is great in my humble opinion. Of course, sprite needs some rework. Yeah, exactly. Chris, yeah. Cool to see. Okay. So, yeah, go ahead and save those changes. Okay, so I'm going to change something quickly, which is just change this the start button to go straight to level 2 instead of level 1. We do have it right now so that level 1 does send the player to level 2, but I don't want to have to play all the way through level 1 just to get to level 2. So we're just going to hop into level 2, see where we're at. I think last time we started creating all the sprites that we need for level 2 on the street view. Enemies. Yeah, obstacles is what we created. Yep. All these obstacles on the ground. Here we go. Let's see if we crash again. Here we go. Okay, level 2. Okay, everything looks good. The katana blade is swinging too fast at the moment. I think everything is kind of, there's no, I think what we have is a couple of global variables missing that are allowing the katana blade and the shotgun to shoot too fast. Vulcan cannon shooting pretty quick actually as well. I don't think it normally shoots this quick. Alright, so I'm not so worried about those at the moment as I am trying to get some of these obstacles into gameplay here. So let's get started on that. I think what I'm going to do is have an obstacle controller for level 2. Controllers, obstacle controller, obstacles, which I have. Sorry, object controller, obstacles. Touch too small for me, maybe just a bit larger than that. Yeah, I agree, Chris. It was a tad bit too small. The thing is, little bullets and some enemies would deserve a bit scale down too, but I guess it makes a lot of rework on sprites then. Really cool backgrounds I didn't saw, but I like the little face of SC moving when he shoots the HUD. Yeah, the heads-up display down to the bottom left, nice detail. Yeah, Chris is creative, very creative with all that. So that was one of his ideas, kind of like the Doom HUD. You can kind of see the player as they're playing. Okay, script, controller, obstacles. What we're looking for. Init. See what's in the init script. Right now, nothing. That's fine. The step script has nothing in it. I'm sure that the step object has just a... well, it doesn't have anything, but we do want to call the controller script, obstacles, step, and pass in self.id for now. Okay, I'll go ahead and pass in self.id here as well. Okay, inside of here, I think what we're going to do is randomly spawn some enemies. And I'm trying to think of how to do this exactly. I may set some... Okay, I've got it. In my head, I've got it. Okay, so we'll set... First of all, I want to make sure that the room inherits from a parent room, because we've got 2 rooms right now, and there's a base room right there. Room level 2, let me see what's created here. Stop all, script, set level vars. Let me go look at set level vars real quick. Here we go. Maintain score, lives left, POW, GS. Okay, that's fine. The main thing I want to do is see the counter. So let me see here for a second. Script, reset game, what's in here? Room step counter, room seconds. So I feel like these are probably misplaced, and they should probably be placed in the... they weren't misplaced initially, but now that we have a second level, we have to pull these out and put them probably in a base controller room. So I will set a script here. This will be script, base, controller, init, and we'll just set that right there. Make sure we grab this guy. And we're looking for the controllers, scripts, and they're here. And we will set a controller here, or a script. Script, base, controller, room init. I think I called it that. If not, it should be that. Let me verify. Yeah, I missed room. There. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to do was pull out script reset game and restart the room counter. I'm only going to pull the things out that I need to pull out at the moment, which is going to be room step counter, room seconds, room step seconds. And I think I can just put them right here. I want to make sure that the base controller is for sure in room 1 or Let's go look at room 1 real quick. I'm looking down here at what objects I have. Room level 1, background, controller cloud, enemy generator. The thing is, I don't think I actually have to instantiate base controller room because they're automatically children, and they are calling, well, they're not yet, but they will be calling event inherited. So that should force the game to load the parent. Well, the game should be forced to load the parent object right here, but then it should also be forced to actually, obviously this isn't in the base controller, but it should be in each of the room controllers. So let me make sure it is. Room level 2 has it, and room level 1 should have it. Yeah, it does. Okay, perfect. Good here. We're on level 2. Don't need it right now. I don't think I got that piece in that I wanted to pull from the persistent controller. Yeah, it's not there. Good. Looking in the persistent controller really quickly. Okay. Nope, it's in the script. Let me get out of here. Script. Reset game. I wanted to pull these out. Let me think on the reset. I think what I'll do, even, this is going to get a little bit crazy, but I think this is the best way to do it. I think I'm going to call script reset room and have both of these scripts call script reset room, and that will be create script reset room, because basically I call reset game at the very beginning of the game and when the player loses all their lives, or finishes the level that was currently created. But I want to make sure certain variables are set at key points, which is mainly, start of each level, the end of a game, that kind of stuff. So script reset room is my guy. It's calling script reset room. What I'll probably do is later on take some of these other details out and put them in reset room. But right now I don't need to worry about it. Base controller room init can call. I did put them in here, but now I've got script reset room. Global.level start is fine. So what this does for me is it gives me a counter that I can use to send enemies out or do certain things at different times in the game. So I'll use the information from script reset room, room step counter, room step seconds, room seconds, to make sure that that I'm using it for the obstacles controller, so that I can randomly spit out different things and check and see if I want to spit something out at a certain point in time with the obstacles controller. So I also have to see where these are incremented right now. Let me just take one of these and do a search on it globally. Search, okay. And I'm looking for it in one of the controllers. Yep, step, line 6, that's what I thought on controller persistent. Take me there, game maker. So Wow, this looks incorrect. Oh, I remember why I did this. Basically, there was a problem where the reason I think this looks incorrect, or I thought it looked incorrect initially, was because I was only incrementing the room step counter if object Skycurser was alive. Well, the reason why I did this was so that basically certain sections, certain parts of the level, I didn't want to complete unless Skycurser was actually alive. So I basically paused the game, or at least this room step counter, while he was dead, and then started it back up when Skycurser was regenerated. So I'm fine with this the way it works. I might take that out to a script. I think I will. It'd be the better way to do this for sure. And so let's go ahead and do that. Script. Create script, room step. And take that. Script, room step. Call it, but also pull it up and drop those pieces in. Now it runs. Okay, so this is in the object controller persistent, and that object, let's just talk about that for a second. That object is persistent. So once it is generated, which I think it's generated in the menu screen, once it's generated, no matter what room I go to, that this object stays with me. And it's a controller because it controls a lot of different aspects of the game. It literally controls the flow of a lot of different aspects of the game. So in the step event here, I am incrementing the room stepper, and in the base controller room init, in the reset room, I'm resetting the room stepper, and in the base controller room init, I am doing a reset on the room. So when I go to a new room and room level 2 gets generated, because I'll show you that again, the rooms are descendants of object controller rooms. So I've got level 1 here and level 2 here. If I go into either one of those, I can see the parent is marked as the object base controller room. So I'm going to get out of there. So basically, when one of these rooms gets instantiated, it calls the base controller of the room, and then it also will reset the room and reset the step counter of the room. So I think I'm good in terms of that. And so now I can let this obstacle controller do its work on the step event, and I have a script called step for the controller. Obstacles step event. Okay, so here I think what I'll do is, if global.room step counter, nope, room seconds, because I think I reset room seconds as well. Let me just verify that. Room step seconds or room seconds. Let's read this for a second. Room step counter plus equals 1 times the multiplier. This is kind of helps us when we go into time warp. Room step seconds plus plus. The room step seconds is equal to room speed, then increment the room seconds. So the room seconds is actually the thing that's, and then I'm resetting room step seconds to 0. I think what I could do, because that'll basically, room step seconds will always go between 0 and 60 because that's our room speed. So I think what I could do if room step seconds modulus 30 is equal to 0. Yep, that's fine with me. Then I'll go basically here I want to determine if I want to generate a an obstacle or a vehicle, and I may need to create objects for these obstacles. I'm looking to see if I've already created them. Nope, not there. Backgrounds, enemies, no obstacles. So I think we're due to create some obstacles, some actual obstacles which are tied to these sprites. Okay, so I'm going to do that first. And I think the main I think I was initially not going to do this, but I think the main reason why I have to do this is I was thinking it had to do with the lights being connected to one of these cars. And so I'm trying to determine if I need to do that or not still. I may be able to get away with not doing that. All right, I'm just gonna create objects for these. So object compact blue, connect it to the actual sprite. Not gonna worry about I'm going to create a base object which will be object base vehicle, and everything that I create will inherit from that, and this guy will inherit from the obstacle as a parent, the controller. Nope, he won't. I'm gonna leave him alone. So this guy will have no sprite. He'll probably have an init event. Object compact gray. Okay. Just put this guy right at the top. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Create object. Object. Sedan. Gold. Kappa. Nice detail. 9 people. It's getting hyped. Yep. Getting hyped up in here, man. Tight. Okay. Sedan. Boom. Got it. Create objects. Objects. Sedan. White. Okay, okay. And then object truck green. Object truck green. Okay. Still, I'm basically generating objects for all the obstacles that I have up there, in case you're trying to follow along and wondering how long this is going to go. I got 2 more to go here. Maybe 3 for the lights. The truck gray. Yep. Got it. And then the last thing, Create object, object van white. Van white, boom. And then last thing I'll do is create a sprite for the lights, car, ground, or an object. Create an object. Object, lights, car, ground. Connect that into the specific one. Okay, hit go there. I think this guy's connected directly to the compact gray car. I'm going to verify that real quick, make sure that's the only one it's connected to, and I'll let you guys see my screen real quick while I'm doing that. Give me 1 second while I pull up Drive. And I'm going to just reference the initial sprite. So
Alright, well, I love you guys, and well, I'm sure we'll be talking tomorrow, so. Okay, bye.
sprites. I may not be able to reference it actually as I'm thinking about this. I think they're under enemies. Cars. Here we go. Come on, take me there, Drive. Yeah, so I can't really see what they're attached to. They may just be attached to all these units, which that would actually be fine too. And what I can actually do then is, since I've created a base vehicle, this will be cool. I can create a step event, which will actually be an end step event, and inside of that we will make sure okay, same lights go with all cars. Perfect, thanks Chris. So inside of that I can say instance create lights. Sorry, that is incorrect. Let's try this again. Go inside of the first of all, we're just going to create the lights, and we'll probably move this over to an init file, but first of all, let's just do it here. Lights equals instance create, and we will say thinking for a second. I think I can just go ahead and create them where this object is. And then we'll just call the object lights, car, ground. Okay, I'm trying to think here related to object inheritance how I should do this. First of all, I need to make sure all these children are inheriting from the parent correctly, so I'm going to do that really quickly. Okay. I must have clicked the wrong thing. Let's try this again. Okay. Set the parent, set the parent, set the parent. I think I just did that one, yep. Green, set the parent. Okay, gray, set the parent. Van, set the parent. Okay, perfect. Now this object has all these children. You can see them all right here. On the create, we're going to create the lights, and then on the end step event, we're going to set the lights.x equal to right width. We're going to set it equal to the x position minus the sprite width divided by 2, and then we're going to subtract just a little bit more off of that, minus 3. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like, but I'm guessing it's going to be 3 pixels. This will basically set the lights out. If it's going to do exactly what I think it's should do, it'll set the lights out in front of the cars, so that the cars all have the lights that are set out in front of them. The next thing I want to do is set this guy up so that every half a second, no, we'll make this 15. Every quarter of a second, we're going to determine if I should continue. So continue, obviously that's a namespace for GMS, so I'm going to have to come up with a bool here. Continue bool equals random range, I'll just say choose 0 or 1 if continue bool is equal to 1, then we continue. So it may or may not determine that it wants to create a car every quarter of a second, and it's going to create the car. I want to see what the position of the background is for the street on level 2, and specifically I think I'm looking for this guy. Yep, and looks like the Y position we need to try, let's say 200. Okay, 190. 190 is the highest Y position. 160. 165. 166. And we'll say 160. Let's just do 165 to 190 for where we can make these things generate. Road will be at 165, a Y position of 165 to 190. So we can then say choose, or let's say YPOS equals random range 165, 190, choose something between there, and then say car equals, or let's just say vehicle equals instance create. The X position will be room width plus I think my widest car is maybe the van, and that guy isn't very large at all, 59 wide, so let's just say minus 60 or plus 60. Instance create that guy at the X position there. The Y position will be my YPOS that was just randomly selected. And then my instance will be a random selection instance. And I think I'll just have a vehicle random. Choose object. We're just going to put all the object names in here. Maybe we could just do all the work in the object base vehicle. No, let's not do that. So let's just do it here. Object compact blue, object compact gray, object sedan gold, object sedan white, object truck green, object, spelled that wrong, object truck gray, object van white. Now, all I'm trying to do right now, if you're trying to follow along and figure out what I'm doing, so I'll answer that in a second, NeoZoom. Let me finish my thought real quick. All I'm trying to do, if you're trying to follow along, is generate vehicles on the ground in level 2 at a random pace and a random position, and they're all going to be driving at different speeds. Most of them will, I think I'll just say vehicle.direction equals 180, vehicle.speed equals random range between 1 and, let's just say, make them drive a little bit faster. Let's say 2 and 5. Now the thing I got to make sure is that they're going by slower than the road is going by. And no, I guess they probably have to be going just a little bit faster than the road is going by. Yeah, that's right. So I got to figure out how fast the road is going by, and so my range will have to be larger than whatever the speed of the road is going by. So let's go look at the background. It's probably in the controller for level 2. I'm just going to go up here and look at the scripts first, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up here. Background level 2, and we're looking at the background regen, the step. I think this is it. Okay, so just regenerating the background init. I'm generating at a speed of argument 3, which would be the last one. For the street and the concrete barrier, 7. So it has to be higher than 7, because they're going to go by just a little bit faster than the road is going by. And I know that's really fast, but that's going to have to be the way they move across the ground. So they can either be going, let's say they can go the same, let's say slightly faster than 7 up to like 9. So the ground underneath them should go barely slower. Let's just say 7.5 to 9.5. Let's also make sure random range doesn't give us a straight up integer. And that it can potentially give us, it says real number. I feel like that's probably an integer. Oh, it does not need to be an integer. May return a real number. Oh, I guess that's their definition. Real number is basically a decimal or a float, if you're familiar with that. So good, this will work perfectly then. Direction is 180, speed is between 7.5, 9.5. Create a random vehicle every quarter of a second, and it could go a different speed. So if I did this right, it'll work. If I didn't, it'll break. It'll blow up at us. So let's see if we did it correctly. And then, if not, no worries. We just go fix whatever bugs we saw. Yeah, I know, man. Jerk. Just kidding. Yeah, that is the real definition of real number versus their definition. I know. I'm just used to talking about things as not integers or floats or decimals. Does ImageX scale change the collision detection, direction detection? If you make it negative, yes, I believe it does. Okay, here we go. The last thing I need to do is make sure that the depth of these being generated is in the correct place. We created a depth engine last time. This is perfect. So let's go check out our depth engine, which is a simple script. It's got to be a helper, or yeah, it's a helper. And basically here all we do is have so object background 2 I believe is the city. I might go ahead and label these object backgrounds real quick. 0 would be front. I know I've got these labeled somewhere else. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Script background 2. Okay. I want to keep this pretty similar here. Concrete barrier closest, just so when I see object background 1 I know what it is immediately. Street and concrete barrier, lamppost, that's not lamppost 2, background 3 is near buildings, mid buildings, far buildings, and sky. I may end up changing those names on those backgrounds because they may be a little bit confusing. Mainly because I don't know what room or level these are associated with, so I may need to be a little more specific. Cockpit frame makes sense, and then let's see if I can get away with saying well, first off, I may put these in the order of depth, and it looks like they're mostly in the order of depth, but I want to make sure I can just glance at this file quickly and see where things are located, and I think that does it right there. The last place I have to put this is I think I want to put this right on top of object background 2, and I want to make this object base vehicle. I think I can get away with doing that. Break, and then my argument 1 equals let's say 121. Should put it right on top of the street. Am I saying that correct? No, I've got it in the wrong order. It's got to be backwards. I'll make this 119 because the lower number is closer to the front of the screen. Level 2. Alright, good there, good there, good there. Alright, let's hit play and see if they're sitting on top of the street. If they got generated properly, they are, but if they didn't get generated properly, they may still be gone. And if they weren't being generated properly last time, but they are this time, there may be a bug that we didn't see. Okay, so I don't even see them getting generated. They should be getting generated down here. So I think we're missing them on our controller. Is it hard to make a game where, let's say you enter battle, server sends result, animations play according to server data? I don't know, I guess I haven't done a lot of networking and games at the same time where basically two players have to be synced up I'm not exactly sure what would go into that off the top of my head. I think I could probably figure it out, but I bet a lot of it is based off of, I would say it's based off of the slower person's internet speed and how fast the server can send the data. I think that should answer your question. Yeah, in the game. How much has to be loaded in. Alright, so we were at the obstacle controller. Create, we're doing obstacles init script. Reset room, which should be good. And what's in the step event should be obstacle step. Script controller obstacle step. Sounds like I just got a follower. Captain Stark SC, thank you for the follow. If you saw the animation, I'm still trying to get the animation fixed. I'm currently, looks like I'm sharing an animation between myself and Skycurser's stream. So Skycurser Dev and Skycurser. I helped Chris, one of the other indie devs. If you haven't followed him already, you should follow him. He does all the artwork and all the sound. Cadrius, thank you for the follow. I think recently when I helped him set his stream up, we ended up overlapping in terms of we're using some of the same files that we weren't previously. Intarki, I'm not sure how you say that. Thank you for the follow. I think that puts me at 43. I'm going to go ahead and update that real quick. Thanks for the follows, guys. Alright. I wanted to see a space controller room in it. That's doing that. This guy's doing that. And this step event, I don't think is getting called, if I saw that correctly. Is it getting called? Yeah, it is. Okay, perfect. That's good. But this is not getting called properly. Do var here, var. Yeah, var. That'd probably be more accurate, but it should still be working. I don't see anything that should convince me that it should not be working. Global room step seconds on a init of the room, script reset room, that's set, and then room step is set right there. I know what the problem is. The step, I don't have a step event for the base controller for the room. Well, actually, no, I talked about this already. The persistent controller should still be in this room, in room 2, and should be counting because the persistent controller is definitely calling this script. Script room step. Let's make sure of that. Script room step, there it is. And it is set to persistent. We're good there. Let me make sure. I mean, I don't think I have to include it. I think that's the very nature of something being persistent, is that once you generate it, you don't have to include it as you move from room to room. I know it's working in room level 1, and I don't see it dropped into room level 1, so I definitely don't have to drop it into room level 2. I may be missing a variable in level 2 rooms. This variable right here, I'm not entirely sure is set in room level 2. Let me see if it is. Set level vars. So obviously we inherit from the parent. It's in here. Okay, we're going to go look at the scripts. Base controller room init. Obviously there's not a lot in here. Script reset room is in there. I wanted to look at the set level vars. Okay, so I don't see the speed multiplier set anywhere, so I'm going to do a search for it. Global dot speed multiplier equals. Okay. Reset game. It's okay to have it set in the speed engine. It's in the step event. That's fine. Object boss 1. So I think the thing is probably in the script reset game. And I don't call script reset game at the start of every room. So we do need to take this one out. Speed multipliers here, speed multiplier default. Let's just go ahead and take them out. Drop them into our script for resetting the room. Perfect. So that these will also be set on level 2. And I guess the other thing that I need to do, and I think I already did this once, but I'm going to do it one more time, is make sure this guy's inheriting the event on both of these events. I don't think I have a step event on the base controller, which I don't, so there's no need to inherit one. Okay. Perfect. Just trying to talk out loud as I'm troubleshooting here. And so I'm reading Nyrox, what he's saying to Intarki. Depends strongly on the game. Real time might be hard. Street Fighter on GMS, easy networking. But for example, like mobile gamey stuff like this Dungeon Village, my friends plays, should be pretty easy. Just send a request over TCP and send a response. You can do that with the plain text protocol. Cool. Okay, so that should take care of the one issue that I potentially saw as a problem, but that also should not affect. I definitely wouldn't have gotten. Nothing would have been breaking because it was getting set in the persistent controller, so that value was there. So yeah, even while I'm thinking about that. Still not making sense why my controller for my obstacles is not firing. So I need to look at that controller. I think this may be more simple than I think it is. Is it in room level 2? That controller. Sometimes you go around in circles until you figure out what's wrong. Did I drop him in here already? What is this one? I'm not sure which one this is because it's not full. It doesn't tell me exactly. It only tells me partially down in the bottom. Delete that one. Controller room level 2, background room level 2, so that's the problem. I need to drop that particular. Give me that object, give me that object. I just kind of keep them separate a little bit, but now there, he's in there. That should fix the problem. I should at least get to the point where I have a bug now if something happens. See what we got. Oh yeah, look at that. Ha ha. That's cool, man. They're I'm going to slow down the speed of them a little bit in terms of their bobbing up and down. So that's working tight. The thing that I noticed though was they're a little bit lower than they should be. I think that's mainly because of where most of their X positions are. So let me look at that code real quick. Step event. And instead of 190, we could maybe get away with making this guy 160. And get away with making this guy 185. And let's go to the base obstacles in it, which I don't see it here. Did I create one? Object base vehicle. So we will, I think we need to extract what we have here over into an object. And we'll do that by putting it in not a controller, but I think we'll just create this is a base vehicle, so I'm going to create one more group here. I did not mean to do it that way. Create a group. Group is obstacles for scripts. Obstacles. And drop this guy into that one. And we can edit this one and say object. Looks great, dude. Slowing the animation down will help for sure. Yep. Thanks, Chris. Object base, or not object, script base vehicle. Init. This will be the init event action. So whatever's in here is going to come out and go over there. And drop it in here. I didn't keep my name. Script base vehicle init. I am going to copy this and take this back over to the create. Drop it in. Let's go ahead and pass itself in as a reference, and then the end step event, we need to create that script. Script base vehicle end step, and we're good there. Take this guy over to the base vehicle step, end step that is. Pass, go ahead for now, just as a precautionary measure, pass yourself in case we need to get yourself back. Save, and boom. I think what we want to do here, okay, so this is going to be a little bit different than the way I got it. We're creating the lights here, and since we passed in argument 0 as a reference, we can go argument 0.lights and then boom, return argument 0. So you're passing the object base vehicle in. That's what argument 0 is. So let's just state that. Okay, and so we're passing it back to itself. I think over here I want to check something just really quick in one of the rooms that the backgrounds for the room we just created. Let's check this guy. Perfect, that's what I wanted to check. Looking at background level 2 init. Okay, so we passed, the reason why I was looking at that is I knew I passed back argument 0, but I didn't have to reference it at all in the init. In the level 2 init. So I'm in the create event of background level 2, and I pass in itself as an argument, and in the script I'm actually returning itself, but that's mainly so that when it goes to the step event, I have all that data, and that gets passed again as the reference, you know, as the argument in script background level 2, which then references self and then returns self, so that we know where, what exactly, well, let me see here, yeah, self.background 0 equals this, return self, and then when we call this script, we're, again, background regen, returning argument 0. So argument 0 again is the parent object, basically, which is the base object controller background level 2. Okay. Almost there. How beautiful is your C++? Wish it was beautiful, man. Wish it was beautiful. Not this. Of course, this is in GameMaker, so there's no C++ here. Dog and Wolf Gaming, thank you for the follow. Very much appreciate it. So yeah, I would like to eventually program something in C++. This is our first game that we've ever programmed. I'm a professional software engineer, obviously during the day, but I'm not a game programmer. I've been working on this game with GameMaker for a little over a year in my spare time with Chris and Phil, the other 2 indie devs on this project. And yeah, so GameMaker has been really my first, move into the gaming development world. And there are a lot of downsides to GameMaker. I think they try to do too much with their drag and drop functionality. I wish more of it was a little bit heavier on programming, but yeah. Okay, so let me go back to here real quick. Script, the init is here. We pass back the argument 0. I know for sure we have an argument 0 here, argument 0 dot lights dot x, and I think we're good there. We just return argument 0 here, and we have it where we need it in the step event for the base vehicle. So that's where we were. Step event. Notice we go here, and I think we're good. All right, hit play. Tight. Hype. Thanks, Cadrius. Languages that I use in my professional life. I'll answer that. Let me see real quick. See what the compile is, because I don't want to get cut off by the game. I'll answer that as soon as I get back to the program, to GMS. Let's see where this is at. Oh, I forgot to turn down the speed on the animation, so let me do that real quick. The base vehicle. So since I'm already back here, let me answer that question. Chakma, is that how you pronounce your name? So I use PHP, Ruby, JavaScript. I'm familiar with XML. I can program anything in XML, but we use a lot of JSON. Also use, on top of Ruby, we use Padrino and Sinatra. Don't use Java. I don't use Java. HTML. On top of JavaScript, we use Require.js, we use jQuery, we use some things like Backbone.js and a couple of other frameworks. Oh, that's fun. Java. Not enabled. So those are probably the main ones. I feel like I'm missing some. I'm familiar with the command line interface. I do a lot of command line stuff. So I call myself a full stack developer. Script based vehicle. Looking for I'm not sure what you mean by that. What am I missing on that? I should probably know the answer to that. Like C and stuff like that, C or C++, machine languages. Script. Where am I? Here we go. Init. And inside the init script, we're going to basically set argument 0 dot image speed equal to 0.5. That should make it half as quick. And let's try that. Compile the machine. Yeah, I don't, unfortunately. don't program in any host OS programming language. Don't have to do a lot of compiling. Die as a hero makes more sense for me. It's just basically telling the, yeah, either way. That's a little bit better. I think it still needs to be a little slower. Still too fast. And I think, yeah, I don't know, I think that's probably fine, because they're supposed to be flying by. And I might even make the time in between each one of them a little bit faster. So let's change that to, let's make it a quarter speed. And in the step event for the obstacles controller, let's make this, man, dare I say, modulus 5. Let's try it. I think you're asking, why did we choose Game Maker to make our video game? Epic 2D engine for arcade. Chose Game Maker because there was Phil was working on the project when I came on. He was using Game Maker. Weren't really familiar with Visual Studio or C or C++. I know that Unity is out there. We made a decision on Game Maker mainly because of cost, but also just because I came on when Game Maker was being used. So we just continued using Game Maker. Think that's pretty good. Ooh, there's a problem right there. Obviously, Skycurser's flying behind the cars, so got to make sure Skycurser's on top of the cars. Depth engine will help with that. Yeah, no worries, man. That made sense. Depth engine. Okay, Skycurser. Alright, I gotta be careful with this because Skycurser's in a very specific part for level 1. And if I pull Skycursor in here, we're gonna be in some trouble for level 2, or for level 1. If I actually decide to set him here. I mean, I could do like an if statement or something, I don't know. Yeah, I could do an if statement. Let's just do that for now. This is probably not the best way to do this, but I think Skycurser's default is 150 right now in level 1, and that's why he's showing up behind everybody in level 2. So I'm basically going to do if room get name is equal to room level 2, my argument 1 equals 1. Yeah, well, I'll do 118 here. I'm fine with that. Let's move it back a little bit, maybe to let's do 114. We've got about 10 between 120 and 110 here, so let's do 114 in case I decide to do something else that's in front of the base vehicle a little bit more. So this will only control it for level 2, only control the depth for level 2. Right now it's automatically set in level 1. Let's go look at that object Skycurser. Here it is. Pretty bad choice for 3D games. Oh really? Unity is. Oh, you meant 2D. Okay. I think I've heard that it's a better choice for 3D games and a worse choice for 2D, and I think that's what you're saying. Unity web client uses Java. Interesting. Alright, so I think I'm setting the depth here, which is right here. Oh, it's set it to 100. That's a little bit odd to me. Why are those vehicles not where I think they should be? I think I know what the problem is. I think I don't even need to set the depth with him because he's probably at a good depth right now, period. And I think I thought I was setting, you know, I'm thinking that I thought I was setting Skycurser, or I mean all the vehicle obstacles depths through the depth engine, but I did not actually ever send them through the depth engine. So I'm looking for this guy right here, and here we go. Argument 0 dot depth equals, how do we do this on the backgrounds? Let's look at the backgrounds real quick, because it's basically going to be the exact same. I think that's in controllers. Got it. Oh, okay, so NeoZoom, it's better. It's getting better in 2D anyway. Not sure if GMS will stay ahead in the future. Yeah, Unity cannot do 2D, but only 3D and 2.5D. And Unity uses C# object-oriented code. I mean, I think I could switch to C# or you know, Visual Studio. Like any programming language, and any developer knows, it just takes some time to figure out what the, you know, to do some reading on documentation and figure out what you need to figure out to transfer over to the new language. 2D games made in Unity are actually 2.5D game. 3D games with 2D effects, it's actual 2.5D. Man, do you know Game Maker actually uses 3D canvas to display everything? Wow. So basically it's the same. Unity uses all languages almost. Interesting. So let's just look at the depth engine and see what we need to pass in, because that would be really easy for us. Helper, depth engine, argument 0 is the object passed in, and the non-default depth if you're going to override the depth. There you go. I did see that I have Skycurser still here, and since I just saw that his depth is 100, I don't need to set him here. But I do need to make sure these guys get set correctly. Script, depth engine, and specifically we're trying to pass in argument 0, which is this particular object. And we'll see if argument 0 will work, because we're doing inheritance here. Yeah, and I'm actually setting the that'll be just fine, because in the depth engine I set object-based vehicle as one of the objects that comes through, so that'll be fine. So now that it's actually going through the depth engine, I expect Skycurser to be out in front of them. Okay, here we go. Booting up here. Ah, come on, what's going on there? Guys, seriously, what the heck? What am I messing up? Depth is 100. Let's see. The init. More importantly, I'm less worried about that. More importantly, I'm worried about the, yeah, I heard you. A little bit. Script, depth engine, argument 0, dot ID. That's what I messed up. Let's try this again. Passing in argument 0 is not enough. Argument 0.id should allow it to identify its own name. So turn off interpolate, is that what you're saying, NeoZoom, to fix blurry pixel issues? Interesting. Alright, this in the background. Generator, depth engine, argument 2. I only passed in the argument itself, the object to generate. Let's see what that is. And it's the actual name of the object. So I guess I'll just pass in object-based vehicle. I think that's what I'll do instead, because what I'm doing now doesn't seem to be getting it. Argument 0.id did not get it. Object base vehicle. And I think that's how I have it in the depth engine. Let's make sure I have that exact syntax in the depth engine. Object base vehicle. Yep. Object get name of the argument passed in. Yeah. Alright, let's try this again. Play. Cars on the road. Cool, cool. Yeah. It's coming along. Getting there. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna blow them up, man. Yeah, we're going to make that happen. It's gonna be tight. Okay, still waiting for it to boot up here. Almost done. Boom, on top. Yes, all these cars will be blow-upable. I do see some issues where some cars that are going behind other cars. I think what I'm going to do is if the further down the X position, how am I going to do this? The problem is that some of them are sitting on top of other ones at weird times that are technically further back, are closer to the player. So we got to fix that. Oh shit, you did notice an error. Thank you. Gonna try to, I'll update that later. Thanks though, man. Thank you. I don't know if I want to fix that issue right now. Basically coming up against time, and I want to see if I can do something real quick, which is add an explosion to those cars. I want to blow them up. Blow them up. Obstacles. Let's go to the objects. Obstacles. Base vehicle. We have a script for init, and I'm going to set an HP to the vehicle. Argument 0.HP equals 10. Let's just say 10. Arbitrary number for now. Actually, let's just set it to 1 for the hell of it. For now, it'll probably change a little bit later. There's no point in setting it any differently. So then we have Skycurser, weapons, object. Where's my weapon? Script, weapons, weapon attack, and we have katana, EBP, griffin, orb. Those are the things that are coming through here right now. We don't have the shotgun, and we don't have the Vulcan cannon come through here yet. Right now, those are inside of each one of the weapons. So, for instance, the Vulcan cannon, mini blast bullet, has its own step event, and I'm probably just going to do this one right now. And then I'll migrate everything over to the weapon attack later. So, hit vehicle equals instance place X, Y, object base vehicle if hit vehicle does not equal no one. Instance create. Let's go hit vehicle dot HP equals minus equals, what's the global hit impact multiplier? I gotta do this pretty close to the way I've got this up here. I'm gonna rework all this so this goes through almost a few lines of code, way fewer lines of code than what I have this. And then I'm gonna say instance create, because I know basically, well, I'll just say if hit vehicle dot HP is less than or equal to 0, then